There's a hidden battlefield inside every social interaction you engage in, an unspoken war for influence and control. And in that war, there is a side of you that you reveal far too often, almost unconsciously. This is the side of vulnerability, hesitation, and the need for approval. It's not the obvious kind of weakness like panic or tears. No, it's subtler. It's in the micro-expressions, the quick breaths before you speak, the slight tremble when your words fail to land just right. Picture this. You're in a meeting. A colleague challenges your idea. You feel the heat rising in your chest, and you immediately begin to justify yourself. You scramble to explain, to convince, to make others see things your way. Your voice may even rise an octave or two. What you don't realize is that in those moments, you are broadcasting a message much louder than your words. You are signaling to the room, I need your acceptance. I am unsure. This isn't an isolated event. Every day, millions of people behave like this. Whether it's at work, in relationships, or casual conversations, the human impulse to be understood and validated drives us to expose parts of ourselves that should remain locked away. You might tell yourself this is honesty, that authenticity is your strength. But here's the cold, inconvenient truth. By revealing this side, you give away your power. Slowly, imperceptibly, respect and authority slip through your fingers. Those around you pick up on this. They don't necessarily call you out or confront you. No, they watch. They learn your patterns, and they find ways to use your vulnerability against you. It could be subtle. A colleague who continually interrupts when you hesitate, a partner who presses when you falter, or a competitor who pounces on any sign of weakness. This dynamic is relentless and unforgiving. In the ruthless game of influence, showing uncertainty, NT is like waving a white flag, a quiet invitation for others to move against you. Yet most people keep falling into this trap, believing that openness wins trust, and that revealing your true self will somehow protect you. But this conventional wisdom is not just wrong, it's dangerous. Now, enter Machiavelli, the master strategist who saw beyond the comforting lies we tell ourselves about honesty and vulnerability. His insight is sharp and unyielding. Never let them see the part of you that needs their approval or acceptance. This is not a call to deception or duplicity. Rather, it's a call for surgical self-control, a cold mastery over what you reveal and what you keep locked behind iron gates. Machiavelli understood that the most powerful figures throughout history were those who never showed the cracks in their armor. They mastered the art of the mask, the persona that projects unshakable certainty, even if turmoil rages underneath. Why? Because in any struggle for power, perception is everything. The moment others perceive doubt, hesitation, or insecurity, they smell blood. They know exactly where to press to win. Consider a battlefield general who doubts his strategy, but never lets his troops see it. His uncertainty is hidden behind a calm gaze and decisive orders. If the troops sensed his fear, chaos would ensue. Power demands that you appear certain, even when you are not. It demands that you be the mountain, steady, immovable, impervious. Machiavelli's counterintuitive law turns the idea of authenticity on its head. It says that being yourself is a luxury reserved for private moments. In public, being yourself means being the version of yourself that controls the narrative, the version that shows no need, no weakness, no vulnerability. This is brutal, but necessary. You are not performing a role for others. You are shaping the reality they perceive. Your emotional openness is your enemy, and your emotional control is your greatest weapon. So how do you begin mastering this? The first principle is deceptively simple but psychologically profound. Control what is visible. This does not mean plastering on fake smiles or forcing false confidence. Those are weak disguises. Instead, it means mastering restraint, deliberately choosing silence over reaction, calm over panic, and mystery over disclosure. When someone challenges you, your first instinct might be to defend yourself, but defending is admitting the challenge has merit. It is a sign of weakness. The stronger move is to refuse the challenge's invitation altogether. Imagine you are accused of a mistake in a meeting. Instead of scrambling to justify yourself, you pause. Let the accusation hang in the air like a weight. Hold your composure and simply say, "Noted." Then move forward as if the accusation has no power over you. This silence is not emptiness. It's a mirror. It reflects the accuser's insecurity back on them. It forces them to question themselves. They begin to doubt whether their attack hit its mark. This shift in dynamic is subtle but powerful. You are no longer the person reacting. You are the person controlling the interaction. The power has silently shifted. Your restraint is not weakness. It is strength. It tells others that you do not need their approval to exist or to command respect. It suggests that you are the person who chooses when and how to engage, not the other way around. This principle extends beyond words. It applies to your body language, your tone, your expressions. Every twitch of hesitation, every nervous glance, every quick smile is a leak, a crack in your fortress. Your goal is to build a presence so composed, so unreadable, that others feel uncertain about where to find leverage. When they can't find leverage, you become untouchable. At this stage, it's vital to understand why most people are compelled to expose their vulnerabilities in the first place, and why this impulse is a strategic weakness rather than a strength. You've been taught to believe that openness equals honesty, and honesty equals strength. You may even think that showing your true feelings, your doubts, and your inner conflicts will make you more relatable, more trustworthy, more human. But here's the uncomfortable truth Machiavelli saw centuries ago, and that modern psychology confirms today. Human beings are wired to instinctively scan for weakness, and vulnerability is the most glaring form of it. When you expose your uncertain or fragile side, you are, in effect, offering a roadmap to your inner fortress, an invitation for others to breach your defenses. Your honesty becomes a weapon against you. Why? Because human social dynamics, especially those involving power, are not about truth or fairness. They are about perception, control, and survival. Your brain is not wired to reward transparency in hierarchical contexts. Instead, it reacts to status signals, dominance cues, and social leverage. In almost every social environment, be it the workplace, family, or friendships, people want to know who's in charge, who's weak, who can be exploited. When you reveal your doubts, you give away your status. You tell the world you're still negotiating your position, and those who do that rarely sit at the top. This is why Machiavelli advocates for strategic opacity, not lying, not faking, but carefully choosing what not to reveal. There is a difference between transparency and vulnerability. Transparency is sharing facts or your thought process to build trust or align with others strategically. Vulnerability is sharing emotions or insecurities that make you susceptible. The world respects the former. It devours the latter. Common misconceptions that keep you exposing too much. Most people defend their vulnerabilities. It is out of a deep-seated need for clarity. They want to be understood, seen, and accepted. But here's the Machiavellian reframing. Clarity is a weakness in power dynamics. It hands others the tools to manipulate you. Control is the true goal. Control over how others perceive you, control over the narrative, and control over the emotional climate of interactions. People mistake being misunderstood for failure. They believe if others don't grasp their whole truth, their relationships will crumble. But in power, ambiguity is strength. Think about the most powerful figures you know. How often do they reveal their full thoughts and feelings? Rarely. Instead, they show a controlled version of themselves, revealing just enough to maintain influence, but never enough to be vulnerable. Now let's ground this in 3 very relatable real-world examples where you can apply this principle immediately. Scenario 1. The Workplace Challenge. You're presenting an idea in a meeting. A colleague says, "I don't think this will work." The room waits for your response. Typical response: a rush to defend. You explain your data, your rationale, maybe even get flustered. You're giving power to the challenger because you treat their doubt as valid and worth refuting. Machiavellian response: you pause. You take a breath. You look at the challenger calmly and say, "Noted. No defense, no explanation." This silence is a psychological reset. Why? Because you refuse to engage in their frame. You don't accept that their opinion has the authority to destabilize you. You leave them confused, wondering if you simply dismissed their concerns, or if you know something they don't. This subtle shift moves the power balance. You signal, "I am not threatened by your judgment." Scenario 2. The Social Bait. At a gathering, someone smirks and says, "You've been quiet tonight. Shy or out of your depth?" Most people feel an urge to laugh nervously, explain themselves, or deflect. That's admitting theory. Frame. You are shy or outmatched. Machiavellian response. Look directly and say, "I speak when there's something worth saying." Then continue as if nothing happened. This rewrites the rules. You don't play their game. Instead, you impose your own narrative. You show you decide when you engage, not them. Scenario 3. The Personal Probe. In intimate relationships, someone accuses you, "I feel like you're hiding something." Often, people feel cornered and respond by confessing small doubts or insecurities, trying to reassure or explain. Machiavellian response. Smile faintly and say, "We all are." Then shift the subject. This is masterful ambiguity. You acknowledge the human condition without giving away your position. You keep the mystery alive, which increases your allure and respect. The immediate effects. Across these scenarios, the common thread is restraint. When you withhold your vulnerable side, you unsettle the expected social script. People don't know how to react. They second-guess their assumptions. They hesitate before pressing further. You don't just resist pressure, you create it for others. You shift from being reactive to being the one who controls the interaction. This is the very essence of power in human relations. The ability to orchestrate perception rather than be victim to it. Why this is not emotional coldness, you might wonder. Does this mean I must be cold, distant, or unfeeling? Not at all. Machiavelli's principle is not about suppressing emotion entirely, but about choosing when and where to reveal it. Think of it as a valuable currency, precious and rare. You spend it strategically, not squander it in every interaction. This mastery of self-presentation leads not only to external power, but also internal peace. You no longer react impulsively or seek external validation. Instead, you become the calm center in the chaos. Now that you've grasped the fundamental principle, to never let them see your vulnerable side, it's time to elevate your strategy with some of the coldest and most psychologically powerful moves Machiavelli would approve. These tactics are not for the faint-hearted or the inexperienced. They require a level of self-mastery and strategic patience few possess. But when executed correctly, they transform you from someone who merely defends into someone who orchestrates. The inversion. Imagine someone throws an accusation at you. You're manipulative, or you don't care about anyone but yourself. The common response? Denial, justification, or anger. The Machiavellian response? A subtle, icy inversion. Look them calmly in the eye and say, "If that's how you see it, that says more about you than me." This move flips the script completely. It forces the accuser onto the defensive, planting a seed of doubt in their mind about their own judgment and motives. It's a psychological judo throw, using their momentum against them. Notice that you don't deny or defend. You don't try to prove your innocence. Instead, you make the accusation a mirror reflecting their flaws, bias, or insecurity. The strategic silence, beyond the initial noted pause, there is the art of extended silence, a cold weapon. When challenged or questioned, saying nothing and holding eye contact creates discomfort and urgency in your opponent. Humans hate silence when conflict is unresolved. It's a pressure cooker that forces others to fill the void. Often, your silence will lead them to retract, self-correct, or even apologize, all without you saying a word. This tactic requires supreme confidence and patience. It's a way to weaponize time itself against your adversary. The controlled reveal, you are not a locked box. You are a vault with a carefully chosen combination. Every so often, unveiling a tiny fragment of your inner self, carefully crafted and controlled, can be devastatingly effective. For example, subtly admitting a minor imperfection or past failure in a way that disarms critics yet preserves your overall authority. This controlled vulnerability builds credibility on your terms and prevents others from exploiting your secrets. It is the paradox of power. Sometimes revealing a little keeps you in control of the entire story. Let's bring these moves into real-life situations where stakes are high, places where most people lose their footing and expose themselves. Business meetings, negotiations. In a boardroom, someone subtly undercuts your proposal or hints you lack experience. The average person might defensively explain, becoming flustered. The Machiavellian stays calm, leans back, and perhaps smiles faintly, letting the comment hang. If pressed, use inversion. That's an interesting perspective. What experiences lead you to that conclusion? You place the burden of proof back on them. You never justify or defend yourself. You shift the power by controlling the narrative. Romantic relationships, romantic entanglements are emotional minefields. When a partner accuses or tests you, "You don't care anymore," or "Why are you so distant?" many feel compelled to reassure or explain. The Machiavellian approach is different. A calm response like, "That's not how I see it," coupled with silence, is disarming. It shows you are unbothered by their emotional provocation and not desperate for approval. This preserves your dignity and respect, crucial currencies in any relationship. Online interactions. Social media is a battlefield of opinions and attacks. When someone tries to provoke you publicly, the best weapon is strategic silence or a cold, calculated reply. Responding emotionally feeds the fire. Ignoring the bait starves it. Sometimes, a brief inversion. Interesting take. Have you considered the other side? Can destabilize the attacker and rally your supporters. By now, you may be wrestling with ethical concerns or doubts about these tactics. Isn't this manipulative? Won't people see me as cold or cruel? Let's be clear. Machiavellian strategy is not about cruelty for its own sake. It's about effectiveness and control in a world that rewards strength and punishes weakness. If your goal is genuine influence and self-mastery, emotional restraint is necessary. People naturally respect those who are composed and in control, not those who react impulsively or desperately. Common pitfall number 1. Overexposing in moments of weakness. Many fail because they abandon the principle under stress, during conflicts or crises. Remember, power is built in the quiet, consistent choices you make every day, especially when it's hardest. Common pitfall number 2. Confusing silence with submission. Silence is not weakness. It is a deliberate choice to refuse engagement on terms you don't control. Avoid filling the silence with justifications or excuses. Common pitfall number 3. Misusing the inversion. The inversion must be subtle and measured, not aggressive or sarcastic. The goal is to unsettle without provoking retaliation. In sum, these advanced moves are about sculpting perception with cold precision, making you less reactive and more commanding. Let's bring the entire lesson into sharp focus. The ultimate law from Machiavelli's dark playbook on power is never let them see the side of you that is vulnerable, uncertain, or desperate for approval. At first glance, this might feel like a denial of authenticity, a rejection of the modern ideal that being yourself is the highest form of power. But that is the paradox. The more you try to prove yourself, to explain, defend, justify, the more you give away your power. You accept the frame set by others, implicitly validating their judgment. Machiavelli would smile wryly at this because he knew the truth. Power is perception. Control is everything. The person who always needs to clarify or defend is like a man shouting into a storm, lost in the chaos, powerless to influence it. On the other hand, the one who controls what is revealed, who manages the narrative and the emotional climate, becomes the storm. You don't need to shout to be heard. You need to be unreadable, immovable, and irresistible. Imagine yourself mastering this art. You walk into any room with a calm presence, an aura that says, without words, I am above this. I am untouchable. No matter the challenge, you maintain composure. Accusations and provocations bounce off like raindrops on stone. You don't chase approval or validation. You command it, effortlessly. Others sense your power, but they can't quite place it. It's in your silence, your restraint, your refusal to give away leverage. You radiate confidence because you no longer react to every jab or whisper. Instead, you orchestrate the social dynamics like a skilled conductor. This transformation doesn't come overnight. It's a gradual process, a stone-by-stone construction of a fortress no one can breach. The internal shift, this power starts inside. You stop needing to prove your worth. You no longer fear judgment or rejection. Your value becomes inherent, not contingent on others' opinions. This internal strength manifests externally as a magnetic calm that disarms even the most aggressive opponents. The external advantage. In every interaction, business, social, romantic, your control of what you reveal creates a strategic advantage. People hesitate to challenge you because they know you won't be rattled. Your silence or measured response is a weapon that destabilizes their confidence. This journey is ongoing. Mastering this principle opens the door to deeper layers of power and influence. It's not a trick or a gimmick. It's a mindset, a lifestyle. By refusing to reveal your vulnerable side, you don't just protect yourself, you transform your entire approach to relationships, conflict, and leadership. The power you gain is subtle yet profound. It's the power to shape perception, control narratives, and command respect without raising your voice. Machiavelli didn't seek to be liked or loved. He sought to be feared and respected. And in that, he understood something timeless. You are building your own legacy of influence, one calculated choice at a time. Remember, the greatest strength is restraint. The ultimate power is control. And the most dangerous weapon is what you don't show.